We're here with Karl Safran, my buddy, my mentor, from No Bowl Training. No Bowl Training just won Best Gym in Montgomery County.
Yes, we did.
Congratulations on that, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for doing this, man.
Absolutely.
One thing that we have most in common is we both got into this career because we use training to better our lives during times that, like, you know, the two of us were going through crazy stuff, you know. To get us out of a lot of predicaments in our life, and you know, whatever we were going through, we use training to help us. And every single day we want to preach how beneficial training can be, you know, as simplistic as that sounds, you know, and how much it can help you in your life. And so we try to get every person that we get around to do it. And in your case, like, you were a big-time baseball player, you know, and you threw out your ankle, or you hurt your ankle, and you got super depressed. You shot up to 3:30, started working at Wings to Go, where you were just eating all the pizza, just eating
lots of ranch dressing.
You were just going through the sauce and the cheese. And you shot up to 3:30, and at 6'5", 3:30, you're like, all right, I'm just going to be a bouncer. And that didn't help your weight struggles either, because you know, the late night eating, late night drinking, your sleep patterns were getting all messed up, which was messing you up hormonally. And then one day you're like, dude, I got to do something about, you know, this lifestyle. I got to do something about my weight. So you were Googling for a trainer.
Correct.
And you came across the National Personal Training Institution, which is a school for personal trainers, where you met Barry Fritz, and you went there with no aspirations to become a trainer, just to learn how to eat better, about lifestyle, how to train better. And you wound up losing all this weight, and then inevitably you started No Bowl Training, and that's where I met you. You were teaching there at the time.
Correct.
And you've shown me the way since. And you know, you went through this whole process and started No Bowl Training. But the thing to me, and you've done like 30 Spartans. At 30 Spartans, like, I'm pretty sure, like, you are like a Spartan, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, with the amount of medals you have.
There's a lot of people have me well beat, but yeah.
You have like everything but the sword.
Yeah.
But so you've done Spartan. But to me, like, the most impressive thing is the fact that you've kept the weight off. You know, 'cause it's always amazing when someone loses weight. But keeping the weight off, like, you've done that for 15 to 20 years now, and you have 3 kids and a business, you know, so you easily can make the excuse that, like, you're too busy and you don't have time for yourself, but you don't do that. But before we get into that, like, I've actually never, like, really talked to you about when you were a bouncer and your bouncing stories. And I always wonder, like, when I'm in line, you know, at a bar or a club, and I'm, like, giving my ID, and these dudes are this big, and people behind us are, like, freaking out, like, let me in, I'm drunk, or whatever, and, like, whatever these people are thinking, you know what I'm saying? Like, what has this guy seen? Like, what does this guy do? You know, if I say the wrong shit to this dude right now, like, it's probably going to hurt, you know what I'm saying? What was bouncing like?
So bouncing was incredible most nights, uneventful most nights, to be honest. But, you know, then some horrible nights, different things. Basically, I didn't bounce at a normal club either. It was an after-hours members-only club, which is a BS way of just getting a special permit so you can drink later. So we could actually serve liquor till about 3:30, which is illegal in normal bars. So, yeah. So basically, we would deal with the drunks coming from bars that closed already. So whether they were really intoxicated, coked up, I don't know, whatever else, ecstasy, whatever. But, you know, if they walked up stumbling, they weren't allowed in. We were pretty strict. I had a phenomenal mentor my first year bouncing. And I've always been the way where I wanted to be good at my job. Whatever I did. I was at UPS, I did my job very well. When I was at Wings to Go, I did my job very well. I moved up to management positions always. But the bouncing was, you know, it was awesome. I was a single guy living the dream. Beautiful women always hitting on you, blah, blah, blah. But the late nights were tough. I mean, I would go to work at 11 p.m. So I would, you know, take naps till 10 p.m. So then I would sleep the next morning till 8 or 9 in the morning. It was like a real messed up schedule.
So you didn't really see, like, sunlight and sleep, right?
No, it was terrible. And then, you know, you deal with the bad element, you know, all the drunks, and they don't care if you're 6'6" and 300 pounds. You know, they'll challenge you, and they did often. We held our own, but we got beat up a lot. But, you know, I have some crazy stories that maybe we'll share a few tonight for the people.
But you know what's interesting? Like, I think that it's actually helped you in your ability to control large capacities. Like, at your awesome boot camps, how organized you keep things, how injury-free you keep people, you know, how efficient you keep people in those large capacities. Like, is that?
I gained a part of me gained from bouncing, like, a hypersensitivity, which is good and bad. Good in the sense of I was actually trained to watch how someone stood and watch their demeanor, their eyes, their hand positions, how they put their feet. So I would just watch people all night for 5 nights a week for like almost 10 years. Just stare at people and just look at, you know, how they interact.
Makes you crazy a little bit.
A little bit, but I got really good at like preventing stuff. I could tell if some, girls at the bar with their hands crossed. Like to me, that's like, hey, let me go see what's up. I wouldn't be aggressive towards them. Say, hey, everything all right, miss? You want to step outside, talk to me for a minute, and then it would open up to whatever. This girl's messing with my boyfriend, and then right away I know there's a problem coming.
I was like that.
Yeah. So, and then other times there's just huge brawls on the dance floor, and I'd radio my guys. We just jump in and clean house.
What's the craziest shit that you've seen? Like, what's a like? Was there ever a situation where like
we've been in like 20-on-20 brawls?
Wow.
Multiple times, like dozens of times.
And just because you guys are the bouncers doesn't mean that.
We were outnumbered most nights.
Right.
I'll never forget it. I think it was either Labor Day or Memorial Day. I don't know. One of my bouncers had a problem with someone. I shut the back door. I told him to stay in. Hopefully he's listening. He'll remember this very well. He had a problem. He let it get personal, which I never did. People used to spit on me, smack me. It wasn't personal. I tried not to lose my cool. I was head of security at the time. I worked my way up. I instead of just being the bouncer, I was actually in charge of all the bouncers and all the patrons. Pay the guys, hire and fire, watch the bartenders from stealing. So there's one particular night, one of my bouncers disobeyed a direct order I gave him, went outside to settle a beef with the guy when I warned him, don't go outside, we're outnumbered, be smart. Swallow your pride.
You can see all this before it's happened.
I knew what was going to happen.
Right.
My bouncer stepped outside, and before he opened the door, he got clocked. And he had about 30 stitches across his face, and he was outside bleeding. So I'm like, here we go. So I radioed my guys. We all went outside, and there was about 20 of them, and only about 8 of us. And they came on a bus, which we stopped letting buses in soon after this. But they were on a bus, drunken frat party, I don't know. So we were just all fighting. I just remember looking up, and I saw like 2 of my bouncers on cars fighting, 2 of my bouncers getting beat up over here. I was getting swung on, and it was insane, a huge melee. Cops came, were macing people. It was insane.
This has to mess you up for a little while, no?
You see the bad side of humans.
Yeah.
You see the side that, they're so drunk that they're looking through me and wobbling and coked up. I used to walk into the bathroom on a nightly basis and watch guys sniffing cocaine off of the piss urinals.
Right.
Think about that. Where people pee, they were sniffing cocaine off of the piss urinals. That's a true thing. Every night. In my early bouncer years, I was a little too gung-ho, no kids, no girlfriend. I was fearless, like dead fearless, no fear whatsoever. Internally, maybe a little, but I would just come off like I'm the alpha male and that's that.
Right.
So when I first would see this, I would wipe their coke off and then like rip them out of the club like a big bully and get them out. Because you don't want that anyway. But after a couple of years of doing this, I actually started feeling for them. Because I'm like, man, it's 4 in the morning. You're blowing cocaine off of a pissy urinal. You're not home. So where's your life at? So I used to try to talk to these guys and girls and be like, hey, you should change your life. And I stopped like choking them out of the club. But, that doesn't work. I would see the same people every week doing the same thing.
And I think that's one thing with drinking in general. Like, do you have like for me, like, I don't think drinking is bad. I think anything in moderation is okay. I'm not promoting to drink.
Drinking alone, if you get deep into alcohol, a little alcohol a day is good for you.
Right.
A glass of wine here and there, a shot of whiskey. My grandpa still bangs a shot of brandy. He's 90, and he's still doing plumbing. He's lifting water heaters. I'm not saying it's directly related to that, but that can be okay. But more than just the drinking, alcohol. So protein, fats, and carbs, the macronutrients, 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates and protein. Fat is 9. Alcohol per gram is 7. So right there, you're getting a lot of calories. But more than that, as you know, if you go out and you stay out late, you're missing sleep. That screws up everything. That screws up your hormones. It screws up your insulin levels, your glucose, blood glucose. And then you have all that alcohol. After you drink, what do? You go eat something.
Right.
You have lower inhibition. So now you're hungry, like, pizza's okay, Wawa hoagie's good, which it is good. And once in a while, you should do that.
Right.
But if you're doing this 3-4 nights a week, you're going to have high body fat.
Of course. And then you're spending your entire week undoing your weekend. And if this is something that happens twice a month, and you can control, you have good self-control, and you can control the moderation in which that you do it. You have a beer, you have a water, you have a beer, you have a water. You have a good time and let loose, from a stressful job.
Go home at a sensible time.
Absolutely.
Sleep.
And hang out with your friends, and that relaxes you. Like, that's good. That's okay.
Yep.
But if you're using it as like your crutch or your way of dealing with problems, or if it's your thing, that's a big one that I look at. Like when drinking is your thing, where it's your hobby. Like you go to work all week and then you go and drink on the weekend. Like you're not going to see results, man, in anything. anything really in life, because again, you're going to have to undo it all week long.
Yep.
But B, if you're drinking to get away from your problems, you have to look at your problems in the face and figure out how to deal with them
There's
in
something
other ways.
deeper going on.
Of course, you know, is it the family that's stressing you out? Is it the work that's stressing you out? You know, and also though, you know, a lot of times people will have a lot of fun when they're drinking, more fun than I've seen people have like ever, you know, and a lot of times that comes after just one beer. So it's a placebo thing in most cases.
Makes
like
them more social, you know.
For sure. And when you're drinking when you've had a drink or so, and then you start dancing your ass off and you're having fun, you're yelling, you're letting loose. Like, what is that going on there? Like, how do you channel that? How do you be like that more? Because that's the person that you want to be, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think we look at it, you know, we're very worried about what society thinks of us. And when you get a couple drinks in, you're like,
it's acceptable.
Fuck it, let's do it, you know? And yeah, ideally everyone's like that anyway, but we're not. Let's be honest. We're all a little different when we drink. That's what it does. You know, alcohol, it's an intoxicant. I mean, it's a depressant, really is what it is. So you get all excited and hyper, and then not to jump back and forth to bouncing, but that's what would happen. Some of these guys would get drunk, girls, they would be high-fiving me, hugging me, I love you, bro, I love you. And then 7 minutes later, they're swinging on me. Right. Because I looked at them funny. So it makes you a little bipolar, but it is a depressant. It makes you sad.
And I know for me, like, you know, I'm not a huge beer guy, so I'll have Jack and Coke a lot. And the next day, if you're not used to that sugar content, that alcohol content.
Probably feel like crap.
Yeah, and you have anxiety. You're anxious. And look, even, you know, if you do this twice a week, I have a lot of clients that don't recognize that they have 3-4 drinks on Thirsty Thursday and then 3-4 drinks on Sip Sunday or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, man, that adds up, especially just like you said. If you're, you know, eating 4,000 calories that day, like, you better have had a good game plan going into that. Where, like, let's say you're supposed to eat 2,000 calories a day, you know, and now you've had that pizza and that beer, you know, and even if you don't eat those calories because you know you're going to drink at night, like, that's not nutrient enough for your body. So it's just a bad situation. So I'm not saying never do it, you know, because I don't think that works either, that end-all, be-all stuff.
Moderation.
Where, like,
can't be deprivation.
No. You know, the whole I'm never going to drink again thing, it doesn't work. Listen, deal with the fact or figure out a way to manage yourself where you can go out. Like, I tell people that I have drinks, you know, all the time, and they'll be like, I can't believe you had drinks, but I'm going to have 2 drinks and a water, you know, and it's good for you. But I also do other things, you know, and I think that this is really important too, like other hobbies that help you to deal with things that I was getting into, you know, whether it's sports, whether it's, you know, hanging with your friends, whether it's being involved in a gym, you know, you have to have other aspects and avenues. For us, you know, one thing to deal with our problems is you do all the Spartans and I do the triathlons. And a lot of people try to create themselves, I think, like in the bar or in the club, wearing clothes that they don't even like, or trying to impress people that they don't even like, and acting like a celebrity because they have some alcohol in them. But the way that you find yourself, I think, is obviously I'm just using the triathlon for example, but through hobbies that are hard for sure. And like in the triathlon, you know, the water's hitting me in my face. I'm drowning a little bit, so to speak. I'm trying to get out of there, and I'm finding out about myself. I'm trying to push through this. You know, how much can you push? You know, how hard can you go? Are you going to get through this? Did you prepare enough? You know, and that's how you learn about yourself, and then how you act after it, and then how you act before it. And if I got my ass kicked in the water all summer long, the next summer I'm going to work on it to get better. You know, and drinking doesn't provide any of that for you. You know, but it is a good outlet, but it shouldn't be your crutch, man. It shouldn't be your end all be all.
You just got to find something new.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
How did you lose? So you were 330 pounds. What are you now?
About 252. I float a little bit, but I've never gone back. I mean, I float. The wintertime, I lift heavier, eat a little more free. Yeah. You know, I'm a little more. I got kids. We have pizza night. You know, it's going to happen.
What do you do exactly in the, like, what did you do exactly in the gym? What are your fat loss tips? Let's just stay in the gym for right now, like resistance training wise, and then we'll do cardio.
Cardio is good, but weight train works better.
What specifically?
Big bang, compound movements. Squatting, deadlifting, chin-ups, lat pull-down, push-ups, shoulder press. Anything that is just going to get more muscles involved. Keep it simple.
And you pair stuff up, or? Yeah,
absolutely. Leg. Push a sled and then do some jump squats. Take a 2-minute break, repeat. Do some push-ups, do some bench press, take a 2-minute break, repeat. Just work hard. I mean, almost whatever you do, if you just work hard, get your heart rate up. Get your heart rate up. I think that's the big misconception. Some people are so, you know, too, like, worried about, okay, I got to be perfect. You know, push weight. As long as you have good hinge, good patterns, you're not going to get hurt, you're using appropriate loads, push hard. You should feel tired when you're done training.
For sure.
That's the big thing.
But it is, on the contrary, it is important to build the.
You got to burn calories.
Mass. Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
And yeah, by putting on that muscle, you're going to burn more calories.
Speed your
rest.
metabolism.
Yep. It's called the EPOC effect, excess post-energy oxygen consumption. After a training session, you might be burning more calories for the next 48 to 72 hours.
Right.
That's what we want.
Which is very important because if you do standard cardio, you burn calories during the workout. It's not bad. It's going to help you recover. But if you're lifting weights and pairing up exercises and building muscle, then you're speeding up your metabolism and your body continues to work post-training.
Yeah.
You know?
Look at the Fitbits. Everyone wears calorie counters. So this is why cardio, I should tell the listeners now, this is why cardio got its big hit. This, when ellipticals and treadmills came out in the early 80s, give or take some years, you know, they were setting people up. They said, okay, let's check how many calories you burn in this hour doing cardio. And I consider a cardio LSD, long, slow distance. So elliptical. Okay, you do that for an hour. You might burn 1,000 calories. Very good. It's not bad. Weight train. You do that for an hour. You might burn 300 calories. So if you're just an average Joe and I say, which one do you want to pick for fat loss? You're going to say cardio. But that's a problem because over time, you're not building bone, you're not building muscle, you're not getting an EPOC effect, you're not increasing your metabolism. If anything, you might be making it worse. You may be getting overuse injuries from just that repetition. So looking at the cold data, you're burning 1,000 calories doing resistance, or 1,000 calories doing cardio, 300 calories doing an hour weight training. But what they didn't tell us was about the bone density increase. You actually make your bones thicker and denser, as you well know. Yeah. Talking to the listeners, obviously. You make your bones thicker when you weight train. You make your body want to lose fat because your metabolism's shooting up, you know, going through the roof. Yeah. Especially if you lift hard and lift heavy.
And the way your clothes look
absolutely
is different.
You know, the scale can get stuck some days, but your inches are dropping, your body fat's dropping, your muscles going up, your bones going up, and your fat's coming down. You feel better.
Of course.
You feel better. A week of good weight training, you feel better.
Right.
A session, you feel better.
You can lose 20 pounds doing cardio where you're just losing weight, water.
You don't feel good. You don't look like you lift.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you can look different. Right.
Yep. So both is better.
Yeah.
Both is ideal.
Right.
If I can get my client 3 days a week lifting heavy weights, doing all the and then 2-3 days hiking or running or whatever they do,
yeah,
that's awesome.
100%. What about nutrition? What do you think the keys are for fat loss?
To oversimplify it.
What did you do?
I started. Well, I went from eating 30 hot wings and a 2-liter soda. Seriously, almost every night. That's what I was doing.
Every night.
Almost.
30 hot wings?
Or yeah. 30 was a joke, easily.
What do? You doing the whole bone?
You got to get the flats. Honey barbecue, whatever was sweeter and more fatty and sugary. That's what I like.
I've been peeling with my fingers, and then you just go the whole thing.
I wish I had wings here. I would teach you my technique. But anyway, let's not get that serious. But honestly, I was just eating a lot of calories, and I wasn't moving. I would lift here and there. I had a gym in my house, but I was just eating. If you're eating 7,000 calories and you're burning, half of that, you're going to just keep gaining weight.
Right.
It wasn't a surprise when I stepped on the scale one day. I'm like, damn, I'm like 330 pounds. I was coming off a bad injury too, so no excuse, but I was limited with movement. I was in a cast for 6 months up to my thigh. I couldn't move. I couldn't even walk my dog. My dog was shitting all over my house. It was horrible. Got depressed, lost a good baseball career, a potential career. But it was my own fault. I was screwing around before that. I was out of shape. I got hurt because I was out of shape. I had too much mass on me. Dislocated my ankle, which my heel popped out of the socket, which was pretty nasty. When I did it at a basketball court, my buddies were there. They looked over and I saw my buddy's face. I was like, that's not good.
Yeah.
And he took his shirt off and I was like, what are you doing? And he put it over my foot. I'm like, okay. My foot was like pointing the wrong way.
You just went numb because of...
Yeah, I was in shock probably because I didn't feel pain. I was like, give me water. I was just like looking at my crooked foot. And I'm like, is my shoe off? I grabbed my shoe. I'm like, oh, it's not my shoe.
That's when you know it's like a bad injury. It hurts so bad you don't feel it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So that really put a damper on me. But I started drinking. I was eating like crap. Right. When I could start being mobile, that's when I started working at Wings to Go and just eating like shit, working long days and nights, and just not moving.
Yeah.
I would just watch too much TV, and I was just being just an average person where I was watching like 40 hours a week of TV, probably more. I was playing PlayStation,
Yeah.
I was just doing shit I shouldn't have been doing.
So eat less, moving more.
That's you see what's going on in our industry now. Coaches like, how dare you say that, strength coach? You can't say that's all it is. Well, when people eat less, when these 600-pound shows come on, these obesity shows, they put them in a hospital and they give them. They went from 8,000 calories a day and they put them on a 2,000 caloric intake.
Anything's gonna work.
They all lose weight.
Yeah, of course.
It's not. None of them have a slow metabolism anymore.
8,000
calories. It wasn't a thyroid problem.
Right.
They all lose like 40 pounds every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's what happens if you eat a little less and move a little more. Yes, is it hormonal? Yes. But the reason you're gaining weight is because you eat crap. Say you eat a lot of dough. waffles, bagels, rice, pasta, which isn't bad in moderation. But say you've just been eating a lot of that, a lot of pizza, you're spiking your sugar. Then pancreas releases insulin. The insulin allows sugar into your cell for energy. But if you have too much of it, it just gets stored as glycogen and then fat.
And I think a big mistake that a lot of people make is like trying to eat like all the green stuff and all this healthy avocados and, you know, like, look, work that into your diet and obviously start, you know, eating more salads and pizza.
That's good,
But, you know, go from 5 slices of pizza to 2.
Correct, yes,
you know,
correct.
watch what happens. You know,
Don't go from pizza and cheesesteaks and wings to kale and fish.
Right.
You're not going to do that.
No.
You might do it for a week,
yeah,
but no one has that mental toughness.
For sure.
Your habits have been ingrained for a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades. You have to spend that much time breaking them. You know, it took me a long time. I used to smoke when I bounced. And, you know, I gave up smoking. But, you know, I had a habit of I would go to the bar, have a beer, have a cigarette. I would drive, I would light up a cigarette. So I actually ate licorice for 2 years when I quit smoking. And it helped me. I've kept licorice in the back of my pocket. I have pictures of me bouncing. I always had licorice on me because I didn't want a cigarette. I didn't want to break, you know, but I caused a new habit. And I got rid of that, and I didn't need that anymore. Right. So, you know, do you jump from one thing to another? Maybe. But, you know.
Right. And
so, yeah, back to your question, the fat loss. You got to eat less and move more. It is that simple. And, yes, that will change you hormonally. That will allow your body to deal with that sugar properly and send it to the proper pathways.
What about you now, like with the way that you keep your weight off, you know?
It's tough. Listen, it's a struggle. I'm not going to sit here. You know me. Yeah. I don't have a 12-pack, you know. Right. I like to eat. I mean, I always like to eat. But I like to lift now. I like to move. I like to kayak. I like to hike. And you know, I'm way more conscious of what I'm putting in my body. Because now I fully understand. I'm chewing up food.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how my body steals the nutrients and takes the excess fat and gets rid of it or stores it, depending on how much I'm eating and what I'm eating. But you hit the nail on the head. More than what you eat, especially in the beginning, it's how much you eat.
Yeah, for sure.
If people would just, you know, I get clients, sometimes they get frustrated after a couple months. They're not making good changes, proper changes. And like, I just don't know what to do. And I literally tell them, I'm like, listen, keep it simple. You eat this every day. We're creatures of habit. We eat this every day. Eat a little less every day.
Especially if you just want like general fat loss, general fitness.
If you're not training for a Mr. Olympia, just eat a bigger breakfast, smaller lunch, medium-sized dinner, move, lift weights every day, just have new habits. Don't watch TV.
Right.
TV's deadly.
You're huge with that.
Watch a half hour.
I like how you take your kids to the park rather than like watching TV.
Don't get me wrong. My kids have iPads.
Right.
I'm not going to say they don't. And sometimes when I'm being daddy and I'm frustrated, I'm like, here, go play with that. Leave me alone for 10 minutes.
But family time's mostly at the park.
But it's rare, man. No, we're out.
Yeah.
We're out. If it's snowing, I'm like, yeah, let's go fight in the snow. Let's, you know, let's go.
That park thing is important, man, especially with like the summer coming up. All the cross training that you can do there with like the biking.
Park's incredible.
Yeah.
Just find a bench.
Right.
Do some dips, do some step ups, and then walk.
For sure.
See
you bring a
bench.
kettlebell, you do an overhead press, 5 swings.
You know, I'm sure your truck's full like my truck is. I have weight vests, kettlebells, dumbbells. It was like a $200 investment. I have it forever.
Right. But you have a gym. And especially like a park is a gym with all the chin-up bars and tree branches that you can climb on.
Sunlight, fresh air.
Right.
No TV, no noise, no cell phone unless, you know, whatever. But you're away from the clutter of life.
100%.
You know, it's great.
I love all the fartlek training that you could do there too, which is a funny word for just changes in intensity.
Yeah.
And you know, I talked about this before. Right. And especially if like it's hilly and then it goes downhill and then it's flat, like all of a sudden the intensity is changing for you, you know?
I just want everyone to know real quick, he doesn't put anything in these.
No.
All right. Sorry.
Glitter.
Back
Sometimes
to you.
glitter.
Back to you.
Oh
yeah.
Hills too. Hills are like, you know, one of the most. I think that hills can be extremely effective for someone trying to lose
100%.
body fat.
Walk up a hill, walk down the hill, do that 10 times instead of running for an hour.
The way it trains your glutes. Your
I tell my runners to do that. My runner's like, well, I want to get better at running. I'm like, okay, well, put a weight vest on and walk up the hill. And then when you get good, jog up the hill, walk back down.
Carry some shit up it.
Repeat that for 10, 12 rounds, and you are going to be a better runner.
Yeah.
You're going to have less overuse injuries. You're going to be healthier to run longer.
2 years ago when we were hitting that hill at Galena, that's the best shape I've ever been in.
No
because
doubt.
just, you know, we would sprint up, and then we'd see how long it took us, and then from there we'd try to take like a minute on our watch.
That was rough.
So if we did it in 20 seconds or 22 seconds, we'd try to hit
and we
that
didn't
again.
have to be there for more than a half hour.
No. Well, we would do like 10 reps, and we smoked, you know. And then if you bring your bikes the way that we do, and then we do like a loop around the park, you know, 20 minutes,
like
60
we would go a
minutes
little
at the
nuts.
most.
Sometimes, we would ride, then run, then hill sprint.
But that
honestly,
would be like a weekend. We had nothing else to do, and that's not part of our training.
If you have an hour with or without the kiddies, sometimes I go food shopping. I bring the little radio flyer, the red wagons. I put my kids in the red wagon, and I live in a neighborhood that has tremendous hills. that I'm smoked after I walk my kids to Giant, and I go food shopping, and then I walk them back home. I stuff the bags on top of them, and I walk them home. It's like 2 miles up, 2 miles back.
Yeah.
So I just spent that 2 hours with my kids. There's a park on the way, family time, because they're going to do what they see me do. They're not going to do what I say do.
Right.
They're going to see Daddy. Oh, Daddy's always hustling. He's always out here doing stuff. You know, in the morning sometimes before work, I'll get up if they're there. Sometimes I'm in my office writing emails. I'll start doing push-ups. Not for any other reason than just to get my blood pumping, get my heart rate up.
And I think that this is a huge depression preventer. You know,
100%.
with all, like you said, all the sunlight, all that movement,
Yes.
man, you're not sitting around taking in that
Yes.
technology, hearing negative shit all around you
Yep.
all the time, moving your body, releasing.
That's the big thing. And here's where we're going bad. And like, I have a little daughter too, Vivi. She looks at all these people she looks at these princesses on YouTube. And she's like, oh, I want to be pretty like her. I'm like, no, you're beautiful. You're
Right.
you.
You're
know,
you.
don't worry
Right.
about her. But we all do it. We look at guys with like ripped abs and big chests. We're like, oh man, but fuck him. You know,
Right.
no offense against him. He worked for it. Good for him. But you're you. You be you. But I think this social media can get out of line. You see how people are. Look at the filter system. You know, do I not filter my pictures? Of course I do a little bit. But you know, I'm ugly, and I've accepted it.
Why
So are
wouldn't you filter though? Isn't that funny though when people are like,
But you can
no
over
filter?
But people over filter, and now
Wait,
I've had
but
clients
if
that
you can
over
put a filter on it and make it look better.
I mean, yeah, but there's a limit because listen, I'll talk to people via Facebook or Instagram. They're like, "Hey, I'm going to come in and try a session." I'm like, "Okay, come on in." I scroll them real quick. I stalk them real quick. I want to know what I'm going to deal with.
How many filters
They
they
walk
use?
in, and I don't know that's them because that is not the same person. then it's a
Right,
negative, you
of
know.
course.
So it can go too far.
And then you're living two lives.
Yes, and it can go too far with weight training, as you well know.
Right.
You can overdo it.
Yes.
You can overtrain.
Yes.
I'd say a small percentage of my clients are overtraining.
Yeah.
Because they're so gung-ho, and it's commendable, but they just think more is better.
Yes.
And I'm trying to teach them where, you know, I want longevity out of you.
Yeah.
I want longevity out of you. I want you to be good all year round.
Right.
I don't want you to drop 30 pounds and then gain 60 in the winter.
Right.
I want you to stay somewhat, find that new set point theory.
To do every single exercise as hard as you possibly can for all the reps
good.
that night and get all your results in that one night. What's your frequency going to be like throughout that week? Are you going to be able to work those body
and throughout
parts
the
again
year,
in a week?
look bigger.
Right.
Because I get people that come like 5 days a week for 3-4 weeks,
Right.
and then they're done.
Yeah.
I don't see them for 6 months.
For sure.
I want longevity.
Yes.
Come 2, 3, 4 days a week for a couple years.
Right.
And you're going to have new habits. You're going to be a new human.
Yeah.
You know, think about with the weight training. I try to explain to people, if you're a girl lost a pound the other day in a week. She's like, oh, it sucks. She was legitimately pissed. I'm like, a pound a week. So I broke out my calculator. I started writing. I'm like, listen, come here. 1 pound a week.
52 pounds. Right.
52 pounds in a year.
Right.
If you could keep that consistently, you won't, but just give or take. You're a different human 50 pounds later.
For sure.
Different human.
Yep.
So we gotta, and what my problem is and what I think I'm getting better at is trying to show people a bigger picture. Like, yes, I want to give them a microcycle and a macrocycle and a 12-week window, but I want to see where they're at in a year.
But I don't think there is any other way to do it. I don't think there is a.
Well, from our perspective, we know. We know because.
But if you skip those steps, if you don't get better at certain exercises and go from point A to point B so you can get to C, you're setting yourself up for failure. I've never
Yes.
seen a client with all the people that I've trained, and I'm not sure about you, but anybody that's tried to skip steps or do heavier weight than when they're ready to do it, or do more reps when they shouldn't be, or increase the frequency that they come when before they should, or
Yes.
how hard they should be working before they should,
how you
because
get
they
hurt.
don't want to put in the time and put in the effort and gradually get better and take the steps, and then they every single one has got hurt. Every single one is burned out. You're listening to this podcast right now hurt and feeling sick, because it's a hard thing though, it's a hard thing to be disciplined
It is.
and control.
And micro
yourself in those
progression is
atmospheres.
tough. If you're going to tell people like, hey, I want you to go from 0 push-ups to 5 in a month, they might think, what?
Right.
But I'm happy with
5
that.
perfect
If
push-ups
you do
done,
5 good push-ups
amazing.
from 0,
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that
No doubt.
progress. Because now you're not hurt, you feel great. We're just going to work you up slowly.
Let's end with all the charity events that you're doing, which you got me into. Charity events are important, man.
Oh, no. More important than people realize. Listen, I was pestering a couple clients this morning. I'm like, hey, you doing Spartan this year? Citizens Bank, that's kind of our thing. We always do it, our gyms. We always have big teams. And some people are like, I don't know. And fear is a big one. What if I can't do this? I'm like, skip it. Or what if I can't do that? You do some burpees. Whatever.
Right.
Skip it. I don't care. But I'll tell you this. We get 100-plus people at these races. So many people after these races write me these emails that, like, they're so heartfelt and emotional to me, I don't even share them. And I share a lot.
Right.
But these are mine. These are personal.
Well,
and they just tell me how they changed their lives. It's a simple race. And more than the race, the confidence they gained from the race. I don't care how long it took you. I don't care what place you came in. You know, we do those too. But for my average Joes, even like last year, I went with all the rooks. You know, the smiles on their faces when they finish these races is insane. And the way they change their lifestyle, because you're around all these fit people, you're not going to sit on the couch and be a slob.
Right.
If you're hanging out with fit people.
No doubt.
You're just not going to do it.
And the positivity and the camaraderie
Yes.
and the perspective change, man, and the gratefulness that people get. And the
movement, simple movement.
For sure.
People take it, they don't understand how amazing simple movement is.
Yeah.
Just to walk.
For sure.
Just to walk.
And doing something for somebody else rather than yourself. You know, if you have kids, you know what it's like to live for other people. But when have someone give you a birthday gift or a Christmas gift. It's great. I'm appreciative for it. But give something to someone else. Help a family with terminal illness or and raise thousands of dollars for your community. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And let me know how that feels. Let me know how much better that feels. I've never been given a gift where I felt the same as when I've given something for someone else.
And if every human was like that,
well, you can be. I
Awesome
mean,
world.
it's a choice. I don't think, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about how important it is, I think, for us to just, as humans, that is what humanity should be. It should be the relationship with us all improving each other and getting better as, as a society and everybody helping each other out. But also, what it does for your perspective on reality. You know, we have such like a distorted reality in a way.
It's the same reason you went to MPTI and I went to MPTI after the initial meeting of our mentor, Barry. I went into the training game as you did, not to see what the industry could do for me. I went into the industry thinking, what can I do for the industry? How can we make it better? So hopefully I think we're doing that.
Yeah.
You know, we train Gen Pop, which is general population, for the most part. We have killer athletes, don't get me wrong. But we train Gen Pop. So we have to get a person who's been sedentary, who has a desk job, who has low back pain, who has tendonitis in their knees and elbows and arthritis, and their backs hurt every day. They have headaches. They don't sleep right.
Even our high-level athletes.
Absolutely. We have to turn those average Joes into mobile working humans that feel good. That's hard. That's harder than training good athletes.
For sure.
When I train my good black belt jiu-jitsu guys, it's almost too easy. Yeah. Not knocking if you just train athletes, but
they move perfect.
Yes, and they have that type A,
get through shit.
Yes, I don't care what he tells me, I'm going to do it.
For sure.
Versus, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. But these charity events for that person,
yes.
And again, I think too much over the top is no good also. We just talked about that. But also too much the other way, and never getting yourself out there is no good either. Like, for example, this past weekend or 2 weeks ago when we did a charity event for the fire station across the street, it was like 10 degrees with wind chills and
rainy.
We were literally sitting in our cars before it started. We spent 45 minutes quickly walking around the park in our coats. But it's so funny, man. Like, it makes you tougher. It makes you tougher as a person because, like I said, like our distorted reality of how easy we have it if you think about it. Like, we literally had our cars warming up so that when we were done the run, we could go right into our cars. Then we went and got
wearing your nice sneakers, wearing your jacket,
going into the shower. You know what I'm
full
saying?
Of money,
And we forget about how grateful we should be and how easy those things come to us. And putting yourself out there, it's always reminding yourself that and pushing yourself through, like even, and look, it's not easy to push through 10-degree weather and wind chills, but once in a while you should. Once in a while you should do the mud run.
It comes down to perspective. Like you said, it comes down to perspective. I'll leave you with this because I think we got to go in a minute. I don't want to bore you guys. When I was training in MPTI, I actually dropped, I think, like 75 pounds that year with Barry Fritz, our mentor, with the training, with the schooling, learning anatomy, physiology, energy systems. I lost a lot of weight, and I'll never forget, I was running around my neighborhood, and I was probably overtraining at this point, but I was so focused. I had a goal, a specific goal weight. I already knew I wanted to be a trainer, help people. I was running around a big block, and I remember I was going up this hill, and I was hurting. I was, like, really hurting, and I was really pushing myself. I had no music, and I remember literally I bent over, and I just stopped. I started walking. I'm like, man, fuck this. I'm going home. And I'll never forget, I looked over across the street. As random as this is, maybe it's not random, whatever you believe, there was a guy pushing himself just down the street, relaxing in a wheelchair. And I'm bent over, huffing and puffing about to vomit. And I'm looking, I'm like, this dude wants to fucking run. And I'm sitting here bitching. I'm about to go home and sit on my couch.
Right.
I ran and I finished, and I actually, PR'd that run. So it's all perspective, though. Right. Some people may have saw that guy and thought nothing of it. But I knew, it was someone telling me something.
And that made you better that day.
Made me better, man. Made me better to this day because I think about that a lot, actually.
Yep.
So.
All right, guys, I hope you guys like this. Definitely get yourself out there. Hopefully you can use some of these tips, too. Thank you so much for doing this.
It's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, guys.